What if I told you that I can predict crime before it happens? My name is Aleisha Jones.
My name is Alexander.
And I'm Nick Edwards.
So imagine a situation where you've read about a bank robbery. So essentially the robber came in, took all the money, and he left. But is that really the end of the story? Well, not necessarily, because law enforcement utilizes predictive analytics in order to predict future crime. So they also utilize something that is known as crime mapping, which also aids in the embedding of catching criminals before these things happen. However, the Owensboro Police Department doesn't utilize this to its full potential. So there are a few problem pains, and the first one is that data is not being utilized to predict crime. So you have all these police reports that are pretty much aggregated as raw data, but nothing's being done with it, and that's a problem. Next, data and records have to be analyzed by a records management system. So essentially in OPD, there's a staff of approximately 4 to 5 people, and all they do all day is they just funnel in these records and enter them in. They're placed on crime mapping, but there are no predictive analytics used, and this is a huge problem. Next, crime information is not displayed in real time. So tying hand in hand with what I just said about the RMS system, records are taking hours and sometimes even days to just be entered into the system just so it can be placed on a crime map, and there are no predictive analytics used. Lastly, records take too long to be shared with other police departments. So if you have Tom, who likes to go across the state or even across the country and likes to commit violent crimes over and over and over, there's no seamless way to share these records with other police departments, and that is problematic. So the solution is quite simple, and it's known as CrimeCast. So what we're proposing is that you take the electronic police records that are initially filed by a police officer. They're sent to a server and a database, so that a police officer is able to sit at his desk without the assistance of an RMS or the lack of sharing. He's able to go ahead and pull up these records, analyze them on his own without any of these hindrances, is able to put these on a crime map, but most importantly, he's able to mark hotspots to track high potential criminal areas. So he's able to bypass all these areas efficiently and on his own.
Our primary target customer is the Owensboro Police Department. And according to our research, we found that the population was about 57,000. Now from this information, we also found that in 2014, the violent crime rates were 127. Now this number only increases over time because in 2015, the violent crime rates increased slightly to 143. Although this is a slight increase, it's still a problem that we need to solve because these numbers aren't decreasing, they're increasing. So you may be wondering what predictive analytics are. Well, predictive analytics are collecting information from already existing data sets so that we can predict future outcomes and trends. A good example of this is if you frequently shop on Amazon, they're going to be able to predict your possibly your future purchases due to the fact that you shop there all the time and they have it in their data set. So a good example is if I'm shopping for a dress and they offer or recommend a pair of shoes or a belt to go with that, that's predictive analytics. Next are the cost benefits from using predictive analytics, and we get our cost benefits due to the fact that we no longer need a records management system. Now this consists of about 4 to 5 people, so we'll be saving about $175,000 per year. Next, the crime reduction rates are about 25%, and we got this percentage from analyzing other systems similar to ours, and we averaged them out.
So in the beginning stage of CrimeCast, we'll be working exclusively with the OPD. That's just to really improve our model and our concept and make sure it works here locally before we go ahead and expand nationally. So with NAPD, there are 109 sworn-in police officers, and as Haley mentioned earlier, this population is around 57,000. So that equates to one police officer for every 520 citizens. Now that is a ginormous gap, so CrimeCast's goal and mission is to reduce that gap as much as possible. Next, we'll be working exclusively with the crime prevention unit within OPD. They need our help the most. Like Aleisha mentioned earlier, they don't have any predictive analytics right now, so our system will make them tons more efficient. And lastly, our short-term goal is, like I mentioned, to work with OPD to prove our model, and long-term goal is to implement this nationwide and to reach conservatively 30% of the market, which equates to about 270,000 police officers.
So what makes us different is that first and foremost, police departments are able to track and deter crime. So currently the Owensboro Police Department, they only use crime mapping, but we're adding value by being able to not only use a crime mapping system, but to be able to actually predict future crime. Next, records are displayed in real time, so once again, we're bypassing the RMS system by having to wait hours and sometimes even days. You get it instantaneously, and the police officer is able to analyze everything on his own. Next, records are going to be easily shared with other police departments, which can sometimes be a hindrance, oftentimes caused by the RMS system. And lastly, we're eliminating the need for the RMS because we're going to be cost effective. We're going to get information in real time via the police officers themselves. So we're going to be cost effective, but most importantly, we're going to save the Owensboro Police Department time.
This is the overall business model canvas we use to structure CrimeCast. First, our value proposition. So CrimeCast is a more efficient and cost-effective tool that predicts and deters violent crime while enhancing the safety efforts of its citizens and police officers alike. So this is our key activities. So first we need to apply for a provisional patent. This provisional patent will guard our intellectual property, which is our algorithms that form CrimeCast. Next, we'll need to hire a team of consultants and a board of directors to give us strategic and financial advice as we move forward. And lastly, we'll need to do some beta testing. That is just to work out the glitches in the system and make sure it's user-friendly for the police officers.
Our key resources include police officers, police reports, and the IT platform. Police officers are crucial because they're the ones who will be utilizing our platform. And police reports are very important for us because we need to be able to collect, aggregate, and analyze this information to be of better value to police officers. And last of all, the IT platform, which goes hand in hand with Katera, because they are the ones who will be assisting us in building our platform. And without this platform, we could do nothing. Next are the key metrics, and this includes the amount of violent crime, the number of police officers, and crime tracking. The amount of violent crime is very important for us to collect and aggregate into our system. Also, as stated earlier, we will be able to deter crime by about 25%. Next are the number of police officers, which are the ones who will be reporting the crime. And also, as stated earlier, we will no longer need the records management system, so we will be saving about $175,000 per year. And last of all, crime tracking, because we need to be able to pinpoint exactly where the crime is taking place.
So our customer relationships are simple. We want police officers from OPD to sit on our board of directors because we want to know what we're doing right, but most importantly, we want to know what we can improve on. And next, we'll be offering free trials for potential clients so they can consult with us and see how we can be of overall benefit to their police force. Our customer channels are quite simple as well. We're going to be heavily utilizing word of mouth. And the way that we're going to do this is by attending conferences and trainings that are targeted at law enforcement. So we'll be able to set up a booth and talk to law enforcement agencies who will be able to utilize our system. We'll also set up a website so that potential clients can reach out to us and learn more about what we do and how we can be of benefit to them. So our customer segments consist of police officers because they're at the heart of what we do, and we wouldn't be able to do any of this work without them. So next, we'll need Mayor Watson of Owensboro and Chief Elam. We need them to form an alliance and for us to meet and to get the overall value in what we're doing so we can move forward with this project. Cost structure is quite simple. We're estimating costs for year one to be approximately $160,000. This includes the IT platform as well as the labor to get everything off the ground. Additionally, we're budgeting $15,000 for the provisional patent and the overall patent that we'll have to apply for to protect our intellectual property. Revenue channels are going to be 5-year contracts at $6 million. And the reason we chose that is that government contracts are a little tricky because it depends on are you a multi-year contract and also the service that you're providing. So we decided to be modest and to get ourselves off the ground. A 5-year contract will be most appropriate for what we're offering. That brings our overall profits to approximately $840,000 for the first 5 years. So in closing, I want you to think back to the scenario that I mentioned earlier. Instead of reading about an incident that happened, what if I told you that we could actually track the person, not track them, but we could catch them before the crime occurred? And that lies the real value of CrimeCast and how it can be a benefit to the city of Owensboro. Do you have any questions?